I'm going to import a terrain map so I can geolocate my model and also have it on the terrain that I can get from a Bing map or a digital globe map, because I actually want to see how the shadows are going to work with this shade cell structure that we're putting up here just to shield the cars. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to import the digital map and geolocate it. So what I've done is I've clicked on the scene tool, and at the top of the scene tool you'll notice we have North tools here. And this is using the PlusDesignBuild or PlusArchitect plugin inside of SketchUp. We go up and we type in an address. Top up. Search. It's going to find the location that we're looking for. I'm going to center the location of the house here, and I'm going to select the region. I'm going to zoom in a touch just to make it a little bit easier for me here. I'm going to select the region, and I can choose whether I want a digital globe map, which is usually a lower resolution, or I'm going to use a Bing map, and I'm going to position my pins so that I can get what I need out of this drawing here. Like that, and I'm going to go import. And what you'll notice is that the map is not going to come out lined with the model, because the model was drawn before I imported the map. In some cases you may start the other way around. However, what I'm about to show you now is really important. Now, when we look at a Google map or a Bing map or anything like that, is we're looking for north, and I can see that north is this way. However, the house is off axis, so I need to actually rotate the map, which is a problem because the north point will still stay the same. I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, there's several things that we have here. Is we have a terrain map, and if I went into my my tags and I went down to here, because it was imported using a plugin, it's actually inside of my documentation, and I can go through and you can see I've got location terrain. I can tick it on here, or I could have just gone see all, which will basically automatically turn everything on for us. And when I select these maps, they're locked, and for good reason, is because currently SketchUp understands that north is this way. However, drawing off axis is bad practice, and it can really bring you undone. It's probably one of the biggest mistakes I've ever made. I'll explain this a little bit more now, because we are going to line up our north point, but I just want to show you what we're lining up and why, and I'm going to explain why this is red at the moment. So if I zoom in here and we look at it across, you'll notice that I have a terrain map, which is this one down here, and I also have my 2D map. Now, in the future, I'm not going to need this 2D map, but to line it up with the drawing or the model that's there, so I'm modeling on axes, I really need to line that up. So I'm going to go Shift, and I've now got two groups selected. I'm going to right click, and then I'm going to unlock them, right? And that means I can move them wherever I want to. You need to be mindful of that. If I go right click and make group, I now have a group, which means that when I move one, the other will move with it. However, with the terrain on, it's very difficult to move it in the right location because it's on an angle. So I'm actually going to go back to my default tray over here, and I'm going to zoom down until I find my my terrain. I'm going to turn my terrain off. And now you can see I just have my flat 2D map. And I'm going to move this using the move tool, M as a keyboard shortcut. I'm going to take my time. I'm going to get as close as I can to my corner of the building, and I'm going to take it over to the corner of the building here. Now, I know this is the outside of the eave, guys, but it's all about lining things up at the moment. And then I'm going to rotate it. Now, the rotate tool is in the large tool set, but Q is a keyboard shortcut. And I'm going to go to the corner of my building on my blue axis, which you push up arrow if you can't get it to lock to blue. It should lock to blue if you're using the 2D map. And I'm going to zoom in to get as accurate as I can here, say, and I'm going to turn my map around. And now I actually have my terrain map and my turn the terrain map back on. Terrain. I have them both turned on. However, here's the problem: is that I've rotated and unlocked it. But the problem is that SketchUp doesn't know that I've changed that around, so I actually manually have to set my north point. Right, so from here, I need to change my north point. So, and I obviously need to double check that I got my north point right, because you have it the wrong way. And the best way is to go back to the map, go to your first tool up here, and it will open up where you're located. And just so you know, guys, north is this way, and therefore in my model, north is the opposite way to what I said earlier. So north is this way here. So we're going to set our north angle. So we're going to go up to our set project north without map reset, because we reset our map already. So I'm going to select that, and then I'm going to go and I'm going to go to the corner of my preferably 2D map, because it will be easier. You can turn it off. Here it is here. There. And set my north. And you'll notice as soon as I do this, my shadow has changed. And now what that's enabled me to do is study the effect of the shade sails on my window. Now you'll notice I don't have my shadows turned on. Guys, in Mac and in PC, you can right click up here. You can go down and you can choose shadows. And what this enables me to do is set the month of the year or the time of day. And it's not as accurate as you can be. You can open it in a default tray, but I'm just going to show you this for the moment. If we get a chance, I'll quickly show you that. So now I'm looking at the month of the year. Now, being that it's in Australia, the month of the year, we're in winter here, whereas in States of America, it would be the opposite side, or the Northern Hemisphere would be the opposite side. So I can now see what effect these shade sails are going to make on this window. And I really want winter sun in this window. So this is exactly what I'm after. I can now figure out at what time of day that the shade sails will affect the shadows I'm going to get in the window. And it's kind of pretty good, because the shade sails actually have gaps in them. And, you know, that was a fluke, guys. I kind of figured it'd be like that, but the shade sails actually aren't going to affect that too much at all. I probably could loosen tension, drop them down a touch if I wanted to. I'm happy with that. For you guys, what are we talking about? So it may be that you're making a U-shaped house, or you're really trying to solar orientate and get the most out of your winter sun on a project. This is the reason why you would do it. So all this shadow information is good to have, especially for design, but the customer, what are they going to take your word for it? So I'm going to bring up the point of scenes. And scenes, what they do is they remember locations in the model. They also remember shadow, time of day, style. So for instance, you might want it in black and white. It will remember all of these different things. So I'm going to go to color again here. And there's two ways to create a scene. I'm going to show you the view menu. So view, animation, add scene. And what that's done is it just remembered every setting that I had turned on. So shadows on and so on. And if I move out to here and I click on that scene, it will take me back to that location in the model with the shadow at the time of day. And I guess that's bringing you to think, well, now I can show the client how this you've done this design to ensure that they're getting the best out of their particular design or your design. Now, there's another way to create scenes, and inside of my default tray here, I have scenes selected, and I can create a scene here by simply pushing plus. Now, if you click this drop down over here, it will give you more information. Camera location, hidden geometry, visible tags. This is everything that scenes will remember about something. And if I said shadow settings, I want to do that, that's fine, but I want to change the time of day. Let's just say we change the time of day to here so that you can see when the sun finishes going in the window, and I'm going to turn the model around to here because you want to demonstrate this to the client. Could be a bedroom window, whatever. If I go add a scene, I can now type in the time of day. So I might say it's 10:17 in December the 3rd. I'm just going to write 10:17 just because you can type in whatever you want. And enter. And what that, you'll notice at the top here, I have scenes, which are always open inside of SketchUp. This is remembering the original time of day, which was 7:43. Yeah. And this is remembering 10:17. Now, it's a kind of slow manual way to do it. This would be how I'd show a client. I'd manually create scenes in locations. However, what's more important is the documentation we have to deliver to authorities to ensure that we can show the solar considerations made in the design. And to do that, I would use PlusArchitect or PlusDesignBuild inside of the scene creator and would automatically create scenes according to solstice. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So I took a little leap forwards, and just so I can show you, so you know what, if this doesn't interest you, get out of the video or fast forward. But these are solstice and June solstice, southern hemisphere. These are the scenes that are going to automatically create. It'll take me 10 seconds to do it. So I'm going to go back to the 1017 scene there because this is where we were last time. I'm inside of my scenes here. I'm going to select these solstice scenes. I'm going to push shift and I'm going to remove them. Delete, yes. It might take your computer a little bit of time to do it. Depends on your speed. And now I'm going to create those scenes. And I'm going to send it to layout. Right. So this is just something I quickly smashed together. I'll show you how to do it in a sec. Okay, so I go back up to my scene creator and then I click on create shadows. Yeah. And what this is doing is actually organizing my model for me so that I can see my solstice scenes here. But I am going to have to tell SketchUp where I want to look at those scenes. Right. Okay. I'm going to close that here. And then I'm going to go and click on my June solstice at 9 a.m. here. And you'll notice that this is probably not where I want to send it to layout because I need the whole drawing. So really what I should be doing is probably getting rid of any excess geometry I don't want. I could either hide it and then update my scene or delete it, or turn tags off, whatever it is that you want to do. Dimension handrail tag, go to my tags, search it, turn it off, and then I could basically update the scene. And it's good practice to get it in the center of your screen because it will make a difference when you send it to layout. And you could also maybe use black and white. You could also choose what you did and didn't want to see shadows on. And you'll notice when I clicked on the roof, it's gone up here and said roof group, cast a shadow, yes or no. Is it going to receive a shadow, yes or no? I'll leave it up to you. Right. So I would now go right click update. And what this is going to do is going to update all of the scenes. So I could save it as a new style or I could update the selected style and go update scene. I could also look at this, how my shadows would affect it in elevations as well. So front, you'll notice I can now see my elevations there. I could right click and add another scene. Right click, add. And then I could rename my scene name to elevation. June, 9 a.m, whatever it is that you wanted to call it. Right. Now I have elevations and I have plans of my solstice. Now, one other thing you want to look for here is you want to find your longest shadow because you'll notice here that this one is probably, once I get it in the center of my screen, is going to be the longest shadow. And inside a layout, you want to show the total distance the shadow is cast. So I'm going to show you a little trick here that's going to help you out. This is where I want them all to be shown like this. So I'm going to go right click and update my scene. You could also update the scene here. Now, the rest of these, I actually want them all to line up so that when they're inside a layout, everything is lined up vertically, horizontally. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my 9 a.m. June solstice. You'll notice it didn't change the scene inside of SketchUp, but it has changed what I'm going to do. I'm going to click camera location off, and then I'm going to click camera location back on and just take a look at this picture when I do it. Takes a second. Right, okay. And if I did the same thing here, camera location off, give it a second, and then camera location back on, you don't have to update the scene. You do need to wait until SketchUp catches up because it is doing things, and I'm going to show you what this means. Camera location off, camera location back on. And you're going to do this repetitively across all the scenes you want updated. Right. Now, I may have made a quick mistake there. Let's go to 9 a.m. My shadows are correct. Now, the elevation, I kind of updated my scene. I didn't really want that. It was a mistake because I kind of was rushing. I can go back and choose where I want that to be. And then go back and go camera location off, camera location back on. Now, when I click on my scenes, it's remembering where those locations are. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go File and Save. And I'm going to send them to Layout. So while this is saving, I'm going to use a tool here that we have, which is basically automates the creation of layout files in 2D so that you can do this. And first thing I'm going to do, I've clicked the layout tool. If you've got a template that you like to use with your own letterhead and so on, you would obviously choose that. I'm just going to use the default template. And remember, one other thing that you probably need to know is what paper size you're going to use that you're going to need. And if you click the 2D tool, it would have put a paper size in here for you, and you can use the on-click tool and it will help you with paper size. I know this project actually needs paper size AO. And this is the paper size that we're going to create our documentation on. Do we want leaders and so on? It's not necessary for what we're doing now, but I also want to know how many viewports I want on this paper. So viewports is how many shadow diagrams I want on that one sheet. So I'm going to say I want 4. Right? And I can create another sheet with another 4 for the other scenes. I'll just do these ones to start. And then I have the option to choose the scenes that I want. So if I actually choose this drop down here and I said I want my plans and elevation as viewport 2, which would be next to it here. So now I have plan here, 9 a.m. and elevation here. Then I'm going to go down and I'll just do the other ones just so you can see what happens here. What am I, 3 p.m. So now I have 4. You can change the scale here, but I'm going to go 1 to 100 because it's typical in Australia. You could go 1 to 50 or 1 to 200. It's up to you. And then when I go submit, you'll notice it says creating the layout file, please wait. What this is doing is it's sending the information I told it to layout so that I can create construction documentation for authority approval. It should take you around about 35-40 seconds. Once it's finished, it will actually come up with a prompt telling you to open up the file location. It says here the file location has been saved, where it's been saved, and I'm going to go OK. Okay, so I've now opened up the layout file and it actually starts here, and you might go, it's blank, why is it? Just go back one page. You'll notice that now you have your shadow diagrams in there, and if we zoom in, the line works pretty crisp. It's still in vector mode. It's not in vector mode. It can be changed to vector mode. Best way to deal with it at the moment is to leave it the way it is. And you'll notice that if I use, say, a rectangle, that everything lines up. So the left-hand side of my model lines up. The top of these models line up just as you would in normal CAD. And basically what that is, and the reason that has been is because we aligned the scenes by clicking the button in the scene manager you saw earlier. And now what we can do, we can simply just select the drawing, so we can move them around a little bit if I want to. So if I went shift and just move these up here a touch, and then if I wanted to bring it down so I see the total shadow down here, if I'm missing anything, you can move it around. You can label it. You can do as you see fit. So, you know, use the name, and you can copy these, Control-C, Control-V, put them wherever they've got to go. And if you click, here's a little tip, if you click on the scene, you'll notice that I can copy the text from here. So Control-C, go back to here, and Control-V, right, whatever it might be. You can dimension, you can do as you see fit. And obviously you'll do a lot better job of presenting than I am. I'm a builder, guys. But most importantly, you've got accuracy, and it's a lot easier than learning SketchUp the old school way and then manually doing them, send it all over. Man, this is going to save you ages and ages. Anyway, guys, if you like the video, push like. If you dislike the video, push dislike. Make sure you tell us why, because we're trying to deliver videos that make it a lot easier for you to get more done in less time. Anyway, guys, don't forget to follow us on our socials. Share the video if there's someone else you know that'll like it. But more importantly, take your time, go through it, practice it.
Can't wait to see some of your